What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What is up, everybody? It's Beast of the East podcast here on the Believe Network, as well as the Y'all's Conference Network on the video side. Happy to be with you on this fine Monday. For those of you starting school this week, God bless. I'll be in those ranks of starting school next week. Our third amigo, Mr. Israel Troop, is doing that very same thing. They started school this week. And he is breaking down film as we speak with his coaches getting ready for tomorrow. So he will not be joining us. So, Vinny, it's just you and I, my man, talking about everything happening. It's going to be a random day, but how are you doing, bud?
Doing pretty good, man. Prayers up for y'all for next week for getting back into the routine in this heat. But yeah, random is good. We can do random. We'll be football heavy before we know it. So yeah, a little random stuff in the summertime. That's never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. Well, the NFL opened up training camps early last week. So we'll get into a little bit of that. We'll get into a little bit of college news as well. Camps will be starting up this week for college, so that'll be getting hot and heavy. But we are brought to you by BetOnline as the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events. With first-to-market odds and lines, you can find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. So BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. So head to BetOnline today or use that mobile device to sign up and join today, making your first deposit, making your first sports bet. You can use this thing to do it. It works just as well. Use that promo code BELIEVE50. That's BLEAV50. You can receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline is where the game starts. So lots of cool lines on BetOnline. We will be using those throughout the course of the season. So it's absolutely outstanding. But football's upon us. Camp has started. Your Cowboys, for one. What are we thinking here?
I was trying to glance. I thought we had an injury to a receiver. If I was trying to scroll and see how catastrophic a blow it might be. It wasn't Lamb.
It was James Washington, right?
Yes, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I saw that. I was kind of scrolling through a little bit. He hurt himself, hurt his leg. I think his right leg, something like that. Probably came down on it, hyperextended it. That's what it seems like.
Okay.
But speaking of this receiving core, man, like you lose Amari Cooper, you lose Cedric Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Is CeeDee Lamb enough to hold up this receiving core? Is there going to have to be somebody that chips in? What do you think?
Lamb, Gallup, it's a little dicey, man. I don't know if he's ready to just step into that number one role or not. I'm a little bit leery.
We're about to find out.
I see this O-line too. That's because that reputation hasn't, it haven't played up to the reputation for a while. So
what you're telling me, Vinny, is you want to jump over to the Falcons bandwagon. Got it.
That's right.
Got it.
That's right.
Got it. If you want to convince Vinny to join the Falcons bandwagon, jump in the chat. You have to subscribe first, but jump in the chat and let us know.
How are you going to feel having to face Julio twice a year? Send him in the division now. Those Buccaneers. Catching passes from top TB12.
That's going to be strange, considering all things considering the history. But let's be honest, he's their fourth banana. We've got bigger problems with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and so we'll see kind of where that lands. I'm sure he'll make an impact at some point this season. The key for Julio, if he stays healthy, great. He deserves a ring. So if they go out and get a ring, man, I'm happy for him. He deserves it. He deserves a ring for everything he's done for the game. So why not? Why not go play the GOAT at this point?
Yeah, and the way the schedule breaks, he might not even play when they come to Atlanta because it's last game of the season, next to last game of the season. They might, he might not even.
He'll play 10 regular season games, if that. I mean, he's going to be on a limited schedule. I mean, and they don't really. I mean, they're going to probably win the division. So, I maybe New Orleans is maybe they compete a little bit. I don't know. Like, it's certainly not going to be Carolina. Certainly not going to be Atlanta. It'll be a friskier division than you think. Carolina, if Christian McCaffrey's healthy, maybe they make things tough. If Marcus Mariota has a resurgence under former offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who's now the head coach of the Falcons, Drake London will be a huge contributor there. If he can do some good things, him and Kyle Pitts will make a good duo. But it's all going to be dependent on what they can do, what Drake London can do, and how fast he can progress. It's all going to come down to the rookie running back Tyler Algier. I mean, they're going to have to find an option behind Cordero Patterson. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting, that division.
Who plays more games? You mentioned CMC. Who plays more games, McCaffrey or Saquon?
Saquon.
What?
Saquon.
Really?
Yeah.
He's not the bill of health his own self. I mean, both those dudes.
But he's not going to play all his snaps at running back either. Like, Dable's got him in the slot. Dable's moving him around a lot. Plus, they got Matt Burita as the backup.
Take a little pressure off playing.
And they got your apparently there's some sets where your boy Wan'Dale Robinson lines up in the backfield, and Saquon lines up in the slot.
He's impressing people up there.
He's running with the ones as a rookie.
I hate to face him twice a year, especially if they get a real quarterback for him.
You might just have to be a Giants fan.
I can't do it. Can't do it, man.
Well, your boy Wan'Dale's up there, man. You can do it.
I can't do it, man. I wish him all the best, except for those 2 games against the Cowboys. I just can't. I don't dislike the Giants like I do the Eagles and the Commanders, but they're still,
still Washington football Commanders team.
Still a bitter rival. But wish him all the best, though. Wish him all the
best. So who do Dallas fans hate worse, Philly or Washington?
For me, it's Philly right now. I've been Philly for a little while. The classic rivalry, Cowboys, Redskins, back when it was, you always, get up for that, even as a fan, no matter when they play. But something about Philly, because it's the Eagles, the Nationals, I'm sorry, the Phillies and the Eagles. As a Cowboys and a Braves fan, something about Philly, man, they're always at the top of the hate list for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And for me, it stems from baseball because the Falcons and Eagles aren't really rivals. The rivals for me is the Saints.
Right. Yeah.
I hate the Bucks worse than I hate the Saints, but the Saints are a bigger game.
Because that Atlanta New Orleans thing, that's been bitter for that was you. If you're a Falcons fan, you better hate the Saints. That was brewing for years back.
This predates
Jackson and Craig Hayward, and in the old days before the Bucks were even part of the divisions.
Shoot, this for me personally, it goes back to, when the Bucks rose to power under Dungy. When they switched over to Pewter, they had a new swagger about them, and they had Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Derek Brooks. I mean, they had the offense to shut down Mike Vick, or they had the defense to shut down Mike Vick, I should say. They had Keyshawn, who's very, very hateable, or he was then. So annoying. as a player, I mean, I'm sure as a person he's fine, but as a football player, Keyshawn was easy to hate.
Yeah.
You know but Tony Dungy was difficult to hate.
Yeah.
John Gruden was easy to hate, but he was hard to disrespect.
Right.
Just for me, just the Bucks, because it just seemed like the Falcons would always go down there with something on the line and blow that game, whether the Bucks were in it or not. They'd go down to the sombrero down there and blow the game, because that's just kind of what the Falcons do.
First NFL game I ever went to was it 03, early 2000s, somewhere around there. I went to Charlotte. Panthers were hosting the Falcons. Vic against Jake Delhomme and
Oh yeah.
And we were sitting there. I didn't have a dog in the fight, but it was cool just to see the game, see the action. And I think the Falcons scored first. Falcons went up 7-0. Two Falcons fans. I'm sure they drove up 85 from Atlanta. Falcons score, and they start popping off. Come on, Panthers, man up. Let's go. And they get in these Panthers fans' faces and blows. They throw hands. Everybody's kicked out like 5 minutes into the game. I said, y'all drive all the way from Atlanta. Get kicked out in the first 5 minutes of your team. It was a little brawl. Security was up there. Yeah. All the stuff you see, especially in Philadelphia. But it went down right there. We just, trying to eat hot dogs and drink beer and all that. And I was like, man, y'all really and so I don't know. I hope they tailgated before, because they didn't get their money's worth at all.
They definitely didn't get their money's worth. That's for sure. Wow. Okay.
I mean, it was on and pop. One touchdown, man up, and next thing you know, it was haymakers and wow, really?
Dang, that's hilarious, man. That is hilarious. But yeah, I think the Panthers were never really that team for me. The Falcons, outside of a few seasons, they pretty much they did really well against the Panthers. I was about to say Patriots. They did really well against the Panthers most years. Matt Ryan seemed to have their number. It was always the Bucks for some reason, and it was always Drew Brees and the Saints. Don't get me wrong. I had him. I hated him, but yeah. So
the computer is,
the freaking computer, man. Jeez. And then they went to that weird stuff, and they lost their edge, and they came back to the pewter and won a Super Bowl. So go figure, right?
Yep.
But lots of storylines in the NFL, lots of SEC guys, lots of SEC rookies getting in the mix. You're going to see your Josh Pascal on Hard Knocks this season.
Yeah,
that'll be fun for Kentucky fans. Aiden Hutchinson will be featured on the big debate, Travon Walker versus Aiden Hutchinson. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on those two to figure out what they want to do or what they're trying to do. So that'll be interesting. Can the Rams repeat? I tell you what, I am a big Sean McVay fan.
Yo,
I'm not gonna say I'm a Rams fan, but I just like the way they play. I enjoy watching them.
Yeah,
I think they have a good chance at repeating.
They could. Now,
Aaron Donald's the best defensive lineman to ever play the game.
It's hard to argue that too.
Mm-hmm.
How many? Yeah. I mean, he gets triple team. How many career sacks does he have? And that doesn't settle the debate as far as the best lineman either. It's all about
interior. I'm looking at interior defensive line. Obviously, Reggie White would like to weigh in on overall.
Yeah, and Bruce Smith
and Strahan and Deacon Jones, all that stuff. Let's see.
Interior
He has 98 career sacks.
Ooh, okay then. Was Sapp the number one interior until Donald came along in your mind?
Yes,
Even though
in my mind, yes.
what a pewter and you hate him.
Yep. I can't. I would be stupid to say that he's not. He is. He was. Now he's number 2. Yeah.
To be that quick and small by interior D lineman terms, and compact and powerful to do what he does, knowing you're the focal point of the O line, every week. You know him. Yeah, I give Watt his props too. But yeah, those guys. You know, for Donald to shut the Super Bowl down when it was on the line. Okay, let me put my stamp on this game and get myself this ring.
Yeah,
he's and I didn't know he had that many sacks. I mean, been dominant for years in a great run, but you're up there.
Looked like according to Pro Football Reference, he had in 2018 20 and a half sacks. Let me make sure that number. Let me make sure I'm reading that number correctly. Sacks, right? Okay. 20 and a half. So he had 9 his rookie year, 14. He had 11, 8, 11, 20 and a half, 12 and a half, 13 and a half, 12 and a half last year. 12 and a half last year. Like, think about how established he is, how many double teams he's getting to have 12 and a half sacks. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's ridiculous. Now, got to stay healthy. Stuff's got to break right. They about, speaking of pewter, they tried to give that game away to Tampa last year. In control, and next thing you know, this is way closer than it should have been. They broke through against the Niners, who had beat them 6 or 7 straight in a row with Jimmy G, and they eked that one out. And it doesn't matter, win is a win.
Yeah.
You don't have Von Miller there this year with Donald, which they brought him in for the stretch run. Someone's gonna have to step up, and which Donald's gonna be Donald, but I'm sure he'd like to have somebody step up on the outside and help him a little bit.
Yeah.
Liam Cohen, former UK OC, went and got him a title, left and went and coordinated that offense and got a ring. Stafford got his ring. Like you said, you want to see Julio get one. Everybody in Detroit was happy to see Stafford get one. Yeah. Maybe I'm disrespecting them a little bit. Yeah, they definitely are in the mix to repeat. They will defend their title valiantly, even if whether they repeat or not.
It's a tough division. Kyler Murray just signed a huge deal.
Yeah.
The 49ers aren't going away. They're starting the Trey Lance era.
Debo got that bag.
Debo got the bag now. So
that was much ado about nothing. He was wanted out, demanding a trade, and
it was all a leverage play.
We moving on to Trey Lance now, Jimmy G. Okay, let's go ahead and
it was all a leverage play.
Is Trey Lance is Trey?
I don't know.
Genius.
Does he have enough experience under his belt? That's the question.
Is he gonna be like Steve Young, sit a little bit and then just come in and be a Hall of Famer? I mean, are we going?
I don't know. I mean, for the 49ers, they hope. I mean, he's got the physical talent. He's got the tools. He can move. He's got a rocket attached to his arm. I mean, it's just the experience, the savvy, the pocket awareness. Some of the things that you can only pick up by playing more than 17 college games at a level higher than FCS.
Right.
In an offense but I guess this is probably the only team he probably could have gone to and done this well this soon, because the transferable offense is very similar to what North Dakota State runs, which is like, their A-gap power stuff and their 32 personnel type stuff. I mean, Shanahan is as much as we think he's a new school, whatever, People like to throw terms around, but really and truly, he's an outside zone scheme guy, and he really really loves the run game, and he's going to stick to that, and he's going to get creative with the pass. And I mean, Shanahan's a smart guy. He's going to figure out the strengths that Trey Lance has, and he's going to use them to the best of his ability.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Part of me wants to be skeptical. Part of it's because I hate the Niners as a Cowboys fan.
Well, yeah, I
Part,
mean,
part of me wants to say
he's essentially a rookie. I mean,
yeah,
he hasn't had that many snaps under his belt, so we really don't know what he has. I mean, he could come out and be the next Patrick Mahomes, best quarterback in the league, and in a few years secure that $400 million bag.
yeah. And part of
Or
it
he could completely flop on his face and get cut.
and set that franchise back 5, 6, 7 years because they're in win now mode, and they're just
They are.
waiting for that quarterback. I got to give him props. Part of me thinks Will Shanahan because he's a he's a dad's boy, but he's earned his own
Mm-hmm.
praise. He's gotten to a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. Should have won it. They were up 10
Yeah, I
on the
know.
Kansas City
That's the knock on Jimmy G. He's not very clutch. He's not
Right.
very durable.
Got to an NFC championship game
Mm-hmm.
against these Rams that we just been talking about with Jimmy G. So if Lance is even a little bit of an upgrade, look out. But
This is going to be one of those scenarios where I think the 49ers are going to learn that they have to go backwards to move forward. I just don't know if when they go backwards, they're not going to stay going backwards for a little bit until they go get, because they're not going to have a first rounder for a while. So, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. And I know we're not usually NFL NFL After Dark or Beast of the NFL, Beast of the NFC East, or by any stretch of the imagination. But I mean, it seems with college camps just starting to kick off later on this week. This is probably our last opportunity to go totally random because we'll be sifting through camp reports and storylines and things like that. I'm sure you'll be locked into Kentucky. I'll be locked into Georgia, and we'll be. We'll check in on Shane Beamer and Eli Drinkwitz and Clark Lee, who's got the best program in the SEC, self-proclaimed. We'll be checking on Billy Napier, who's hot as a freaking firecracker in recruiting. He just pulled 3 commits this past week, and he's doing a hell of a job down there recruiting wise. So, I was very, very down on Billy Napier. I was very negative. And a lot of it's just because he gave me Butch Jones vibes, but he seems to be working out of that. But I mean, all the stuff that he was saying, he did give me some Butch Jones stuff.
And we only got on this tyrant, this NFL thing because we're talking about SEC guys in the league.
Which is fair.
Debo, that's still SEC East guy. Pascal, who's going to be on Hard Knocks, who deserves everything he's getting, overcoming cancer at UK, had to sit out a year and thought he was going to lose his foot to bounce back and had the year he had last year. And then Hutchinson, of course, is going to get top billing, going to Michigan and getting drafted higher. But you're not going to outwork a Josh Pascal, and he can sneak in there and kind of find a niche for himself on this Lions team, who, by the way, maybe they get some breaks. They lost 15 games, it seemed like, by 7 points or less. Baltimore had to kick a 70-yard field goal to beat them last year. So, kind of allow averages. We might see the Lions sneak up there and, get some of these games that always come down to the wire in the NFL.
Well,
maybe they get a few little breaks.
It's going to be a weird division.
Dan Campbell biting knees and doing that stuff, whatever he does, he might win.
They're building something there.
Yeah. I mean, they play hard for that dude. They play hard for him, man.
They did.
Every gut wrenching loss, they were right back the next week.
That's right.
Right there, ready to win another game. I mean, they couldn't close the deal, but that stuff kind of carries over, and sometimes you've seen the law averages and all those near misses turn into Turn in the wins for you next year. I'm not saying they're gonna go 14-3 and win a division and knock Green Bay out of first place, but maybe they're hanging in there and making a little noise, getting past the Bears and the Vikings, and trying to cause a little trouble in that division.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Who knows?
Take NFL again. My bad. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. But I mean, that's the deal. But let's go back to the Gators, though. They again just killing it in recruiting. Their latest Andy Jean, wide receiver from Miami Northwestern, so they're starting to recruit better in state a little bit. So you watch Billy Jean, you watch Andy Jean. Look at me here. I mean, he really, coming from a really good program. I mean, Miami Northwestern is not some slappy program down there, but you watch him, and he brings that much needed playmaking ability to their squad. I mean, he's a big target. He does, he's got a little bit of jump to him. Just runs by people. This is South Florida, and so they're getting some much needed pieces. Not to do a recruiting breakdown on Andy Jean, but they're getting there. All right, maybe he can just get away from hosting his game changer coordinators and doing all that crap and just freaking go, man. But yeah, you have Cox Jr., Brenton. He's named to the Bednarik watch list, the Chuck Bednarik Award. So that's good. Just again, it's Brenton Cox Jr., which say what you want to say about him. I just think he was kind of a head case early in his career. For his sake. Being a Gator hater, I hope they go over. But Brenton Cox, for if you're a Gators fan, he's somebody. If you're going to have a successful season, he needs to be on his game, because he was. Every time I watched him, he was up and down with his performances. He was up one, down a few plays, take plays off. Something doesn't go well, he kind of just shuts it down. And maybe that was a Dan Mullen thing, but what are we, for the Gators, like what are we looking for here? What's our storylines? What do we expect to see from the Florida Gators?
Maybe Napier's probably gonna bring I don't know, hard work, more dedication. He's not gonna mail it in the way Mullen seemed to. Mm-hmm. If I'm a Florida fan, I'm probably looking offensively just to see if Richardson's accuracy is improved like everybody says. If it is,
because he certainly can get it down there. Yeah, do it 75 yards at the Manning Passing Academy. So
if he's not more accurate, whatever, they're gonna spin their wheels and it's gonna be a struggle. But if he's polished and improved like everybody says, then they still have talent. It's not the Florida talent that we're used to, but they could be a nice bounce back. I think a lot of pressure is on him though.
Yeah, he's got to get. Anthony Richardson has got to get more comfortable in the pocket. I mean, you watch him all year long, and he's kind of erratic. Not much experience really in the SEC. I mean, he comes in, has a good game against LSU. Has some good outings, but then gets to that Georgia game and just gets freaking. I mean, he's not the first, and he certainly wasn't the last that season to experience that. But
you got strip sack for TD,
strip sack, pick six. It's just everything that could go wrong for him went wrong for him. But a lot of it was just due to his not being comfortable in the pocket, not trusting his reads, not having good footwork. Just undisciplined eyes, stuff like that. Things that bring quarterbacks down even against an average defense, but against the best defense probably to ever lace him up in college football. You can't make a lot of those mistakes. Has he
Mhm.
learned? Well, you certainly hope so. You certainly expect him to, because that's just kind of what these guys do. But um, they just don't have much coming back. They have Justin Shorter coming back. They have Richard Garage,
Yeah.
Ethan White, and Kingsley Gakun.
Yeah.
They have Trent Whittemore, who, I mean, some of these receivers aren't necessarily proven,
Right.
but Napier has a good pedigree coming from Louisiana, coming from being under Nick Saban at one point at Alabama. So
Mhm.
yeah, I don't expect them to win the East, but they're certainly not going to flop. It's going to be a tough division. It's going to come down to, what do they do early against Kentucky? I think if Kentucky gets the better of them, and if Kentucky can win that game decisively, that might set the Gators up for a mediocre debut season for Napier. If it's a close game or Florida comes out ahead of Kentucky, that game is usually one that gives them a lot of momentum, especially here recently.
Yeah. And that's what past
It's a
couple of
home
years.
game. It's a
Yeah.
home game.
It's week 2 for Kentucky. That's the pivotal game every year. Last year it was Missouri at home. And if they can get by Missouri, they can be set up for a solid season. And now this year, well, week 2 at the Swamp. What's going to happen with Chris Rodriguez? Is he going to be there? Is he going to be suspended for a couple games? Still,
Mm-hmm.
still keeping all that close to the vest. I've heard some people say what they think the other stuff is besides the DUI, but nobody's really come out with it yet. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, week 2, and then of course if you get by that one, the target always moves. Well, after they beat Missouri last year, well then it was LSU, and then it was Florida, and those were the must win. That's the target moves for everybody all
Yeah.
season long. If you clear the hurdle that was do or die 3 weeks ago, well now you got another one that's do or yeah. That's just
Mm-hmm.
the nature of the beast, though.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they come out of the gates with Utah and Kentucky. I mean, that's not an
Yeah,
easy schedule. I mean,
no,
Utah's
no joke.
probably the favorite to win the Pac-12. So
Yeah.
you look at that and say, wow,
Mhm.
that is quite the schedule. So we'll know early on. Then they're at Tennessee 2 weeks later after Kentucky. That's not an easy game.
Mhm.
So they could very easily be 1-4
Yeah.
coming into October.
At
That's a
LSU.
that's a very easy possibility. I mean, that's not an easy go with Kentucky, with Utah, Kentucky. They go to win at South Florida, and then they're at Tennessee, who's much improved this year. I think if that Tennessee game is a home game, maybe it's a little bit more of a slam dunk in their favor, but it's not.
Yeah.
And Hendon Hooker is, yeah,
Yeah. And you're coaching every. I'm sure you see a first year coach over there. You sure
hmm
they're making strides. They're doing all this and all these great things and all this optimism. But
hmm
if you're already established, every team expects to beat a first year coach.
hmm
They don't have their stuff together like we do.
no, they don't. I mean,
And
he
so
knows this league,
yeah,
and they have
Heupel's like,
they
man,
have,
I'm
yeah, they
good
have a
luck.
good bit of defense coming back at Florida, so
Yeah,
there's that. They have Garvin Dexter, Brenton Cox, Ventrell Miller, Trey Dean, Rashad Torrance. They have a lot coming back in the secondary, so I mean they'll be approved over there, and they get a huge addition by subtraction by losing Todd Grantham. So there's that.
dude, man, is he low key the Lane
No,
Kiffin of assistant coaches? Because he has landed on his feet and gotten job after job after job.
he is. He really is.
Louisville, Florida. he's,
I've
he
never I've never ever seen anything like that.
he blitz crazy, but gets burned and just still keeps blitzing, and this is what I do. And then I fuss and squabble with my boss
Yeah.
when I'm at. I mean, he was at other stops too. Where was he? Was at some other places besides
Mississippi State,
yeah,
Georgia,
yes. So that's the he's like
Louisville.
yeah, he's a Lane Kiffin assistant coaches, man. He just keeps getting hired.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. It's odd, man. It's odd. But speaking of former Gators, looks like Dan Mullen's about to join the SEC network.
mm,
What do you think about that?
uh, he's just kind of annoying, man. Just
Eh.
even in the studio, I mean, he might bring some analysis, but it's just gonna be hard to.
He's
It's
just
gonna
a
be hard to listen.
weird. He's just a weird guy.
That's true.
Just a weird guy.
So he's gonna be on there. Is he taking the Chiswick spot?
Yeah, I guess so. Because Chiswick
Okay.
went back to UNC, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I like Chiswick. It was, was it Dari and Chiswick and
Mm-hmm.
what was it last year?
Chiswick wasn't bad, but I like the crew they have now with Roman Harper, Ben Watson.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that crew. It's a pretty good
Mhm.
crew. It's not bad. Jordan Rogers too, I think, occasionally.
Yeah, and Doring, Dari Nokwa, Chiswick, and I think it was Watson last year. I guess it'll be Mullen, Watson, Dari, Doring. I don't know for the Saturday night post game type stuff.
Yeah, who knows?
I really liked, Swagoo, man. Spears set the bar kind of high. So, especially on Thinking Out Loud. I liked it when he was on that, a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Harper now. I like Watson too, and I did like Chiswick. So, but Mullen in there, he's got that kind of gravelly voice. He's got that annoying kind of nasally.
Gravelly, and nasally.
And we're from the South. We're in the SEC countries. That northern nasally annoying.
I don't know if I can do SEC final with Dan Mullen.
And he's gonna come in with too much energy and be too bubbly and too fired up, and it's just not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna go well. I'm not anticipating it to go well.
Yeah.
He might prove me wrong, but and then he's gonna be talking about his Yeezys like he did at SEC Media Days and putting his shoe up on the desk and got these new Kanye Yeezys. Remember he was Yeezy crazy a couple years ago at Media Days.
And he would always, and since they're Jordan brand, he would always do that too.
Yeah, is his wife gonna kiss Fine Bomb on the mouth and all those like she did?
She probably will. She'll probably kiss all of them.
That's what I mean. Why stop now? She's been doing it all these years. And if I went to Florida, did I say it last week?
I don't know if you did or not, but go ahead and say it.
Wife is out here paying my rent and giving me rent money, and Mullen's wife is just kissing me before games. I mean, like, hey,
yeah.
Maybe I should have went to Tennessee.
Get that bag, man.
Yes. Chick-fil-A, McDonald's bags,
or go to Florida, make out with the head coach's wife.
Right. Yeah.
Done. Done.
Oh my god!
Like, what? Come on, man! Like, it's weird.
Yeah, Mullen's wife is crazy. She's got like Malzahn's wife would look crazy too. Remember, she was a little.
She would pop off on somebody now. Oh yeah,
we hadn't seen that kind of crazy since Miss Malzahn was up in here. So
I know. So now who's going to take the reins?
Pruitt's wife is out. Stoops is divorced. He don't even have, so that's not an option. I don't know about
Sam Pittman's wife. Kirby's wife. No. We don't know any wives anymore.
What's Drink's wife? I mean, because
she's probably like non-existent, like in the public eye.
Miss Fisher, Miss Jimbo. What's she talking about?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now that might be
all right. That might be a good one. It might be a good one. Hey, you might be onto something, Vin.
Miss Terry's too classy. She ain't about to act up.
Nah, she ain't gonna do that.
Miss Fisher.
Now, one of Lane Kiffin's girlfriends might pop off sometime.
Yeah, that's
Now that's a possibility.
exactly.
That's a possibility.
Always.
I'm here for it too, because he's at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this what it is, right? So, just as a quick reset, follow us on all social media platforms. If you haven't seen us on TikTok, please do so. We have Believe in Dogs. We have a bunch of videos up. Our last one from you and me in Israel is close to 400, so make that. We're averaging about 400 per video. Some going into the 500s, and we have one that's almost at 10,000. So make it happen.
On
Do
here
that.
or Believe in Dogs? You know about Believe in Dogs, right?
Believe in Dogs.
Yeah.
Beast of the East doesn't have an official social media page. It kind of just lives vicariously through my other accounts.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So follow that. Follow Believe in Kentucky. Follow Vinny. Follow Israel at Troopstar28.
That's right.
Let him know like what he's missing out on.
Mm-hmm.
He's breaking down film. I can't break down shit because our account's on hold.
Your account.
At Huddle.
Oh wow.
We ain't paid a bill, man.
Man.
We ain't paid a bill.
They paying you all the money. They can't pay the bills and you.
That's right.
You know,
I am head coach for the week, so
hey, Coach Burton, we got a Coach Burton or Huddle. Coach Burton or Huddle. Hey,
we can't let Coach Burton walk. So we gotta pay him.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that scene. It's like that scene in Rounders. Pay him. Pay that man his money.
That's right. Absolutely. So man, these decisions have to be made, and they chose wisely, in my opinion. So, yeah. I don't mean to bring it down, but I can't come on here and not say nothing about all the flooding that's been happening where I grew up.
Yeah, man.
Kentucky.
That's sad. I mean, all the devastation there are, our thoughts are with everybody in Kentucky. I mean, we've all dealt with floods at some point. And so it's just it's a rough thing to go through. We hope everything stabilizes. We hope the death toll halts at its current number. It's whatever its current number is, too many. But we hope it stops there, and we hope everything gets under control up there in the great state of Kentucky.
Got hit hard. It was the tornadoes in last winter, and now the floods, and it's all right around where I'm from. All the surrounding counties, pretty much. I mean, it's raining a ton where I'm at. I'm talking to my little mom and my sister and the family that's there, and still getting more rain. Kentucky basketball is gonna do a telethon tomorrow, which Cal has done that before, for the hurricane in Haiti, and did a lot of stuff last year for tornadoes. They're doing telethons tomorrow, and then an open practice where you can just go and walk in the RUP and make a donation, and all the proceeds will help. LEX18 tweeted out that $381,750 has been raised for the Kentucky Flood Relief Telethon. So kudos to them for doing that kind of thing, and just keep everybody in your thoughts. My neck of the woods too, man. Just little Jenkins, Whitesburg, little towns that are just 30, 45 minutes away, but they're just ravaged.
Yeah, it's terrible, man.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
I had to mention that, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, you are Mr. Kentucky, so we have to mention that, and your fan base certainly will be tuning in, if not right now, later. So we would be remiss if we didn't mention that, and thanks for bringing that up. So
yeah, no smooth transition, but
yeah, there's not. So let's just pause for a second. And we're back. All right. So what else in the world of sports? I mean, there's a lot going on. This, not to continue to put a damper on the whole thing, but that Deshaun Watson decision, the 6-game suspension for that mess has come down. That's created quite a stir around the country, regardless of who you're a fan of, what team you're a fan of, or if you're even a fan of football at all.
Mm-hmm.
What 6-game suspension, should it be more?
That's basically a game for every 4.5 counts, charges, accusations, allegations, whatever he.
Yeah.
And you saw some of these suspensions. Dudes who got Calvin really got a year for
betting.
Yeah, some of these other suspensions in comparison to this, and if I'm a female, this is a female judge that issued this. I'm like, what are you? Lady, what are you? Did you not know what he did? Like, so I mean, why you gotta do that to every masseuse? Why you gotta? How these ladies just
because you're a deviant and you have money and you have power.
How these ladies keep coming out of the woodwork?
Because they're enamored with all of that.
Man, I mean, you can. It ain't gotta be like that though. You don't have to. It don't have to go that direction every time.
Yeah, it doesn't. But like, again, they're just they're enamored with it, and I just don't. I don't like it. I mean, I'm certainly not saying it's the victim's fault by any stretch. I mean, you get somebody that has that much money, that much power, that much influence. People are gonna cow down to his demands or that person's demands.
Yeah.
Or his demands in this case with Deshaun Watson. So I just don't understand how you could sit there and say, okay, Ben Roethlisberger had one accusation that turned out to be kind of whatever. Okay, 6 games. I get it. You never want that to happen. Zeke Elliott has one that ended up being a fake, a slanderous attempt. I mean, there's probably some truth to it, but I don't know. But it ended up being not much. He gets 6 games, but to have 30 people, 30 like this, it goes out the window when you have 3 people that nothing happened. I mean, there is something here. Is it everything that they're alleging? Probably not, but it certainly is nothing. It certainly isn't nothing either. It's somewhere in between, and that somewhere in between leads me to believe that it should be at least a year, maybe the Trevor Bauer treatment, who is in a similar situation where he's 2 years and counting. His is costing him $60 million, his suspension. So, the $60 million he couldn't get, he can't get a hold of.
This coming from a league with Daniel Snyder acting a fool with everything going on. With it's already some stuff that
you can grope a woman, but do not light up that joint.
Right. So
don't play a bet on FanDuel, but you can whip your junk out and demand a girl stroke you.
Right. So that in light of all of this stuff,
but don't take the over on the Georgia South Carolina game by all means.
Some double standard to say the least. That's an understatement. So I mean, I just thought for sure it'd be. I think Cleveland was even bracing for him to be out for the year, and
money talks, man. Money talks. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I'm sure from what I've heard around around the sports media world, not a lot of people disagree with that statement. They think it should be more. Roger Goodell is probably would not shock me that Roger Goodell comes down tomorrow and tacks a few more games on it. And by a few more, I mean the rest of the season. I would be okay with the season long suspension. Let's just suspend it for the season and move on. And put this thing in a rear view. But I think that's minimal, right?
Get it away from everybody. Looks at it as like a slap on the wrist. Get out of slap on the wrist territory, because 6 games for this, it doesn't really add up, and at least a year to where it looks like, okay, you at least kind of tried to lay the hammer down or make the punishment fit the crime, but 6 games doesn't come close. It's just slap on the wrist. He gets to play. A month and a half in, he's back. Still got 11 games to go. You know what I mean? Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. So, I don't know. We probably shouldn't be surprised, but unbelievable. Like you said, money talks.
Money talks. I don't particularly care for this.
Yeah.
And good for the Browns. I'm being very sarcastic when I say that.
Yeah, man, that's
very, very sarcastic when I say that.
Go hitch our wagon to this dude.
God, yeah, well done. Well done.
Yeah.
It makes being a Falcons fan not so bad now.
Yeah.
I bet Cleveland fans are like, oh my God, why? Why did we volunteer ourselves for this? We traded for this guy.
Well, the ones with a conscience, yes. But I'd say some of them are like, if he can, ever live up to his billing, we got ourselves a quarterback. As soon as we get past all this little dust up, we got our quarterback.
Yeah, go Dogs!
Dog pound for life.
Dog pounds, yeah.
I mean, the ones with a conscience are like what you said. The majority of the others,
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it.
No.
Glad it's not my team.
Yeah.
Glad my team didn't trade for that.
Yeah.
I would have to say so long. If the Falcons if the Falcons landed Deshaun Watson, I was out for sure.
No, because you got every female masseuse in Houston got something on you. Every one of them.
Like it's the coincidence goes way out the window at that point.
Yeah. Dude.
Way out the window. But who am I?
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. So whatever.
Yeah.
You can have it. But at least you got Wan'Dale Robinson killing it for the Giants.
Yeah.
I heard Garrett Wilson's killing it across town for the Jets. I heard he's going to be extremely productive. I heard Breece Hall's the same way. Drake London's doing well. Jordan Davis is making quite a name for himself. He might have a career in music after this, after his rookie talent show.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You need to go check that out on Twitter.
I gotta take that.
Yeah, check it out. It's pretty funny actually. It's pretty funny, but
yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
But Vinny, we're gonna take off. We're gonna get out of here. So we are the Beast of the East podcast. We are on the Believe Network, also the Y'all's Conference Network. We thank you for joining us. That's all we got for you today. A lot of randomness, a lot of NFL news, but we'll continue with the training camp wraparound next week as teams begin their training camps around college football. We will update you on that, talk about storylines coming out of camp. Scrimmages should be underway at that point. We'll kind of get a feel of who's doing what, who's impressing who, what camp battles are happening in full force. So for Vinny Hardy, I'm Corey Burton. This is the Beast of the East podcast. We thank you for listening. And of course, go Dogs. Check us out, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Goodbye.
See y'all.